is Shazib Mulk, and I've been serving in the L&D industry of Pakistan for the past 4 years. And I wanted to come out of this dilemma of the training being in the training rooms. So I had discussions with many different professionals, many different trainers, and you know, जिस चीज के लिए प्रोफेशनल्स 1-1 लाख रुपए देकर अपनी नॉमिनेशंस करवाते हैं, मैं उसको इतना एक्सेसिबल बनाना चाहता हूं कि लोग अपने लिविंग रूम्स में बैठ के, अपने बेडरूम्स में बैठ के, अपने फोन्स पे बैठ के उस कंटेंट तक, उस प्रोसेस तक और उन कॉन्सेप्ट्स तक पहुंच सके और उनका फ्लेवर ले सके. So the situation that the whole world is going through right now is really affecting everybody, not just their bodies but their mental health as well. And we need to make sure that this moment we actually make a surgical strike on that particular thing that is affecting our mental health. So for that reason, today we have with us Mr. Sahil Adeem, who is a behavioral psychologist and also a professional consultant. Assalamu alaikum, Sahil.
वालेकुम अस्सलाम. वालेकुम अस्सलाम.
साहिल, बताइए हमें, ये जो पूरा पेंडेमिक वर्ल्ड पे आया है, इसके क्या मेंटल इफेक्ट्स आ रहे हैं? एक तो मरीजों पे, the patients who are actually suffering from it, and also people who are not actually suffering from the disease, but the panics and the stress that this has brought on us.
First of all, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, well,
Uh, I think this is one of the core issues that everyone is going to go through, especially Pakistan, because right now we are not going through what went through in China when they quarantined. We are still not quite there in the quarantine phase. We're just starting to feel that sort of a pressure upon us, and this is
yeah,
something which is going to play a really, really big part. And people are not realizing of what kind of psychological effect that this sort of quarantine does to regular people. And there's this term in psychology, we call it the collective hysteria. Collective hysteria is when a certain cluster starts panicking, and because of that panic, the rest of the outer boundary of that cluster starts that panic situation, and then the ripple effect goes across the board, and
right,
millions of people start to panic, and this actually creates such a big stampede that people lose their basic senses of how to operate their family, in their individual self as well. And jobs are the first thing that they're going to actually dent. And this is something which is God forbid. I hope that this situation doesn't come, but let's not be let's not shy away from something that can happen. And in our case, Pakistan, I think we should be very well prepared. Social distancing is something else because that gives a flavor of isolation. And people actually start to confuse isolation uh, with the quarantine. Quarantine is a totally different technology. It's a totally different ball game. Isolation has its own repercussions on the emotional health and emotional intelligence of people. And this is by no means an isolation that we're going to go into. We're going to go into quarantine.
right.
That's way worse. And this is something which, at a psychological level, causes way bigger damage. Just let me just break it down. First and foremost, we call it the attendance dilemma. Attendance dilemma is when there is a patient, and the doctors actually see that patient going into pain, and they admit that patient. But the worst thing that actually happens is not just to the patient, because the patient is already mentally prepared for
Yeah,
that inevitability. But the attendants who are attending to that, the family and friends of that person, they go through a totally different turmoil. The second thing is that collective hysteria, which causes the core of vulnerability of every human being to be exposed, because most people start to believe that, because of whatever superstitions or whatever that they know of through their own core knowledge that they've actually been brought up into, that they think this is the end of the world coming. The whole Armageddon philosophy starts to tickle in, and this psychology actually causes chaos. And this, people try and keep their composure, because at least in quarantine, in this case, they will be with their families, if
Yes.
not friends. Because they're going to be with their family, they're going to be way more vulnerable, because every man is going to try and save their own children first. And since this
Yes.
it's a invisible enemy, so everything is going to make you hysterical, because anything you touch, anything your child is going to touch, you'll have to keep cleaning. And it causes a lot more problems. And then
So
the third thing, which
yeah.
is people who are going to go through uh, financial crisis, because not everybody is, I think most of the people are going to go through it because of that fear of unknown, because that fear of unknown is because of the timeline of this quarantine. We really do not know when the
How
vaccine is
long will
going
it?
to be
Yeah. How long will it go?
available. Yeah.
So Sahil, as you said, you told us everything and the three main things that this epidemic could do to ourselves and to the world around us. I'm a very solution-oriented guy. I try to find solutions of every problem. Now the problem has arrived. We cannot do anything about it. We cannot change the fact that we'll all have to face this mentally and physically and
Yeah.
help each other around. So coming back to the topic of emotional intelligence, I have a few questions here which I would like to ask you. First of all, सबसे पहले साहिल हमें ये बताएं कि emotional intelligence layman language में कहते किसे हैं? What is emotional intelligence?
सबसे आसान अल्फाज में मैं आपको बताता हूँ. The easiest way to understand emotional intelligence is to keep your composure in the worst case scenarios, so that people who are actually dependent on little and big decisions which are going to come through you uh, do not get affected. Emotional intelligence is to keep that rationale alive according to the kind of stakes you're going to be facing. Now, in this case, the stakes are going to be really, really high. The people who really do not know how this machine works, they will not be intelligent enough to manage the kind of problems that they're going to cause, not the corona, but they themselves are
Themselves.
going to
Yes.
cause in their
Their brains.
family. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So let's just treat it like any other intelligence. For example, you're not going to give charge of your company to a 10-year-old boy or girl, right?
Yeah.
Because he's not intelligent. So in these cases, when this sort of isolation and the quarantine is going on, your EQ, your emotional quotients are going to be lower than normal, because you will be under a fear of unknown. You will be way more vulnerable, and your body is going to be releasing the kind of response uh, which is only in a state of war.
I've heard it from many professionals, and you just said it in this video as well, that this level of anxiety, of his level of panic, is going to go up high. Now, I want you to give three simple tips to our viewers. How can they manage those panic attacks and those anxiety attacks?
Yeah, first and foremost, so everyone has to do that, regardless of wherever your placement is, or your socioeconomic class is, or your gender is, whatever fragment of the society you belong to, is to do whatever anybody should do to gain any intelligence about anything, and that is to gain knowledge. To as much as you're going to reduce the quotients of this unknown in the fear of unknown equation, the more knowledge you're going to have, the less you're going to have that fear of the unknown.
But
For
when
example,
you say that you need to be more knowledgeable about this virus, to emotionally handle it, how do we put a filter on the knowledge that we receive? Yesterday, I received a message on my WhatsApp group that WHO or someone has claimed that coronavirus is now airborne as well, and it can stay in the air for about 6 hours. So how do we filter that knowledge to keep ourselves in a positive mindset?
see, that's collective hysteria. WhatsApp has become our on forwarded messages, and self-made videos have become our core source of information. We never treated any ailment like this. The more knowledge you're going to gain, the more healthier you're going to be in terms of your emotional health, because then you'll know that it's all right.
Point number one being that have more knowledge about the virus and more authentic knowledge about it, which will make you less stressful about it because of the survival rates and because of the symptoms. What is the next tip that you're going to give to the viewers?
Now, I purposely am telling you this as a number two thing to do, even though I should have started with that, but people would not have listened to number two or three if I started with this. And that is your philosophy. Please make sure you start to meditate about what your actual purpose here in this world is. And that is so that you can help others. If everyone starts to go into a selfish war psychology, which is in the war zones, and starts to save his own self, then you are going to be absolutely of no help, not even to your own family mates. Okay. Now, I know that general psychology of everybody in an epidemic area, which is now the whole planet, is that try and save yourself. But that's not how epidemic is stopped. As soon as you twist this psychology and go into the real core that you are here on this planet to help other people, then as soon as you're going to see symptoms, you are going to quarantine your own self first, because you know will know then your kids are at a risk from you, the father of the house or the mother, whoever you are. So always be a giver. Try and find out who you can help. And first and foremost, right now, your immediate family needs your biggest help. And that is to, for number one, to get them awareness. Number two, to make sure that everyone is trying to save other people, not just himself. And number three, make sure you understand that there are other people who are going to be less worried about corona and more worried about other things that are going to kill them, like hunger or whatever financial problems that they're going to go through, which they are going to go through. Make sure you're aware of your own area, what kind of people are going to need your help. This does not require physical contact. Don't try and make clusters and try and hold town hall meetings and so that you can help the next door neighbor. It's not the money that's going to save people. It's the people who are going to save people. It has been
Wow.
like this since Adam, and it's going to be like this on the day of judgment. So understand this. Money is not going to save most of the people. People are going to save most of the
Going to
people.
say,
It's the
I
philosophy.
think this was the line for the day. Every news channel, every social media, there's nothing else except Corona. How do you come out of that situation?
I think if I were running a TV channel, specifically a news channel, and if I were responsible and if I had a purpose of coming into this planet, I would be spreading very positive news and knowledge only. These are the two things that we require. We require actual knowledge of how this thing works and positive news, specifically talking about how many people are saved who were diagnosed, so that the hysteria goes down, the cortisols go down, the panic will go down. Make sure if your cortisol level is up, your immune system is down. And panic causes your cortisol to go up. That's why we call it panic. Your IQ drops, your mind focuses all of the energy to the sympathetic nervous system, which is only the glucose mechanism to your muscles. Absolutely nothing to do with your immune system. Okay, your immune system is at its peak when the parasympathetic nervous system is at its peak, and during panic your cortisol turns off the parasympathetic nervous system. Hence, your lymphatic system is literally close to shut down. Your antibodies are going to do whatever your natural momentum is going to make them do. Otherwise, your mind is not regulating that pump that your parasympathetic nervous system does.
This is a very, very important thing that you're saying. I want you to repeat this in Urdu as well, so that people who are watching us in Pakistan and people who did not understand the technical wordings can get the actual flavor of it.
श्योर मैं बता देता हूँ आपको जैसे ही आपका पैनिक सिचुएशन क्रिएट होती है आपके भाई आपके आपका माइंड जो है ना वो पैनिक क्रिएट करता है और आप बिलीव करते हैं कि वो बड़ी पैनिक मसला है खतरा है तो आपका जो दिमाग है तीन तरह के सिस्टम्स हैं हमारे एक सिस्टम बना ही खाली भागने के लिए लड़ाई करने के लिए उसको सिंपैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम कहते हैं वो जिन केमिकल्स की वजह से वो जिन केमिकल्स के होते हुए वो सिंपैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम फंक्शन करता है वो दो दो केमिकल्स हैं एक एपिनेफ्रिन है और एक कोर्टिसोल जब ऑन होता है तो पैरासिम्पैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम जो हमारा नॉर्मल सिस्टम है जो इस वक्त मेरा है आपका इस वक्त
बिल्कुल
जिसके थ्रू हम सोचते हैं जिसके थ्रू सारे काम करते हैं वो ऑफ हो जाता है और जब वो ऑफ होता है तो क्या चीज ऑन होती है हमारा कोर्टिसोल के थ्रू हमारा एक ग्लूकोज मैकेनिज्म ऑन होता है जो मेरे थाइमस ग्लैंड से सारे के सारी बॉडी को ग्लूकोज दे रहा होता है वो ग्लूकोज मसल्स में जाता है खाली ओके वो मसल्स में क्यों जाता है ताकि मैं मस्कुलर फंक्शन दिखा के या लड़ाई कर सकूं नॉर्मल रूटीन में बिल्कुल भी नहीं होंगे ना मैं पैनिक सिचुएशन में
अच्छा,
ग्लूकोज मसल्स में जाता है सिंपैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम के थ्रू। सिंपैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम ऑन होता है जब मैं खतरे में होता हूँ। सो जब ये आप हर बार झूठी खबरें व्हाट्सएप के मैसेजेस, ऑल ऑफ दोस पीपल हु आर सेलिंग सेंसेशनलिज्म और मौत की खबर और इतने परसेंट लोग मर गए हैं, खाली ये सुनते रहेंगे, तो फिर आपका सिर्फ सिंपैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम इनएक्ट रहेगा। इसको हिस्टेरिया कहते हैं ना, इसको पैनिक कहते हैं। सो जब पैनिक होती है तो कोर्टिसोल ऑन होता है और सारा कुछ बाकी का सारा कुछ शट डाउन कर देता है। और वो क्यों शट डाउन करता है? बिकॉज जिस्म को जो एनर्जी चाहिए होती है उस वक्त, वो सारी की सारी एनर्जी को फोकस करवाते हैं मसल्स के ऊपर। इंसान ने या लड़ाई करनी है या भागना है, हर जानवर खतरे में अपने मसल्स के थ्रू काम लेता है। तो इसीलिए आपका इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस का मीटर एकदम ड्रॉप हो जाता है, यहाँ तक कि आपका आईक्यू 30 पॉइंट्स तक ड्रॉप हो जाता है व्हेन सिंपैथेटिक नर्वस सिस्टम इज ऑन। नाउ ये आपका इम्यून सिस्टम का कोई ताल्लुक नहीं है इससे। इम्यून सिस्टम तब काम करता है जब यहाँ पे दो ग्लैंड्स हैं हमारे जीटीएक्स, वो जब सप्लाई करते हैं बॉडी को नए सेल्स, more than a trillion cells per second are supplied to the body। मगर ये तब ऑन होता है जब कोर्टिसोल ऑफ होता है। तो जब आप पैनिक में होते हैं तो जीटीएक्स ऑफ हो चुका होता है।
ऑफ हो चुका होता है,
सो
आपका सिस्टम इफेक्ट करता है।
जी, आपका इम्यून सिस्टम तो उस वक्त के लिए शट डाउन तो नहीं होता, आई एम नॉट गोना से शट डाउन, बट इट इज गोइंग टू बी एट द लीस्ट एफिशिएंट वे। सो जब मरीज पैनिक कर रहा होता है तो उसके बचने के चांस सबसे कम होते हैं। मरीज जब नॉर्मल और कंपोज होता है तो उसके बचने के चांस भी ज्यादा होते हैं, बिकॉज वी कॉल दैट मेंटल स्ट्रेंथ, इवन दो मेंटल स्ट्रेंथ तो होती ही है मगर उससे उसकी बॉडी भी स्ट्रेंथ ले रही होती है। सो दैट्स व्हाई आई सेड कि जो लिम्बिक सिस्टम है ना, उसको आपने ठंडा रखना है। और वो ठंडा कैसे रखेंगे आप? सिंपल, सही नॉलेज लेंगे, ज्यादातर चीजें आपको पता होगी। कि फॉर एग्जांपल अभी मेरे पीछे कोई आवाज आई और मैं सोचूं कि जिन भूत है तो मैं पैनिक में आ जाऊंगा। मगर अगर मुझे पता होगा घर में 10 बंदे मौजूद हैं, नॉलेज है मुझे, तो किसी भी चीज के हिलने की आवाज से मेरा दिमाग खतरे की घंटी नहीं बजाएगा, सोचेगा कि कोई कोई फैमिली मेंबर ही है। सो knowledge of corona is going to get you less in the panic mode, because the fear of unknown is going to be mitigated, not nullified, but at least mitigated. So understand how real this problem is. And now I'm not talking about corona. Your panic situation is such a real problem that is going to create way more problems for your dependents. And that's how emotionally intelligent people create rational decisions.
First of all, thank you very much for sharing your knowledge with us. Thank you very much for giving your views and your tips to our audience about emotional intelligence and how it can help them in these times of panic. What is one last thing that you would like to tell our audience to, a way to stay positive or a way to spread positivity? What is the one last statement that you want to give?
लोगों की हेल्प करें, सिर्फ लोगों को बचाएं, अल्लाह ताला आपको बचा लेंगे। And my last word should be that keep praying, so that prayer is the only source of positive psychology. We have a positive psychology because of the deity we believe in. Our prayer causes causes our optimism to go up, and this is the power of positivity that is shown in this body of ours. This is a mirror of our character, of our philosophy. So I hope everyone gained a lot more and is at a way better state than they were before watching this video.
Thank you so much for your time again, Sahil. जो viewers हमारे देख रहे हैं, if you want to send us some questions, we can that you want to ask Sahil, we can call Sahil for another interview anytime about any topic.
So I'll meet you through Zoom now because of the social distancing. Anytime you wanna have a session, I'm always available for you, man. It's
Thank you
always a
so much,
pleasure.
and thank you so much, audience, for watching us. Please keep on spreading positivity. Allah Hafiz.